In this lesson we will talk about LightMix. This is a render element used to control or adjust the lights in the scene from the Vray frame buffer. First of all, we have to add this element from render elements to the list, and also we will have to use from GI brute force. Well, usually we use brute force and light cache. When we are adding this LightMix element, we can control during and after the rendering the intensity of our lights, and not only, by the way, we can control the color as well. So first of all, don't forget to switch from RGB to LightMix, and you can see here the list of our lights that we have in the scene. And using this list we can control all the lights, or we can control separate lights in the scene. So first of all, let me start the render, and while we are rendering we can control the lights in the scene. At the bottom of the list we got the environment that we can control. Well, we are using usually HDRIs and they are loaded in Vray domes, and we will see that Vray dome in this list, but in this case we got a Vray sky. We also have a Vray sun. The Vray sky and sun we left from the previous lessons, and in this case, as our Vray sky is loaded in the environment map, we will be able to control that from LightMix, for example raising the intensity of our sky. We also got here the Vray sun. It is disabled for now, but next we will use that for our lights, for our interior lights. This is actually the main feature why we are using the LightMix. You can see here, for example, I've selected the wall lights, and we will change the intensity of those lights, and we can change that during the render and after the render as well. You can see the impact when we are changing the intensity, and also we can change, for example, the color of our lights. Let me actually stop the render for a second so you can see that we can use this during our render and also after the render as well. So basically we got three parameters. We can turn on and off the lights. We can use this especially when we are trying to create the intensity, the overall intensity in our interior, for example like a hierarchy of our lights. After that we got the intensity and the color. And by the way, you can apply these changes to the scene. For that we will have first to stop our render. Next we will have to go to this button to scene, and the adjustments will be applied to the light or the lights in the scene. Let me show an example. I will create a Vray sphere, a very simple sphere. I'm using this simple light as we have the default parameters for this light. I'll start once again our interactive render so we can see the light in our image. And after the render calculates this sphere, we will be able to see its intensity. I'll raise a bit our Vray sphere so you can see on the floor the real intensity of this light. And here in the light options we can see the multiplier. It is 30. This is the default for any Vray light. You can see up here the name for our light, and we will try to find this light in this list of our LightMix. By the way, you can name your lights so you can find them a lot faster. And now let's increase, for example, this intensity of our light by 2. You can instantly see on the floor the intensity of our light. Let's assume that this is a new light that we added to our scene and we adjusted the intensity of that light. And next we'll have to go to this button to scene after we stop our render, and if we click to scene, you can see that the multiplier of our light became 60, meaning that it was 1 or 30, and now when we increase that by 2 we obtain 60. Well, this is the LightMix. We also got a few more functions, but mainly we will use these functions that I've showed here.